When I first saw the envelope in my mailbox, I thought it was just another bill. But when I saw her handwriting, the neat, perfect cursive I'd known my whole life, my heart started to ache before I even opened it. "We've agreed you're no longer part of the family." That's the first line I read. I remember the words shaking in my hands. The paper felt heavier than it should have. I thought maybe it was a joke, but the rest of the letter made sure it wasn't. She wrote, "You've made your choices, Claire. You've turned your back on us. Don't come to any family gatherings. Don't reach out to your brother. From now on, it's best we live separate lives." No love, no goodbye, just that. I sat on the kitchen floor for what felt like hours. The sound of the refrigerator humming was the only thing keeping me company. I kept reading her words over and over, like maybe they'd change if I stared long enough, but they didn't. My mom wasn't just my mom. She was everything. Sunday phone calls, birthday cakes, the person I called when life fell apart. And now she was telling me I didn't exist anymore. I wanted to call her. I picked up my phone a dozen times that night. But what do you say to someone who's already erased you? The worst part wasn't even the letter. It was what came next. My brother, Ethan, unfollowed me on social media. My aunt stopped replying to my texts. Cousins who'd shared every holiday with me just disappeared. It was like my whole family had a meeting and decided I was a ghost. I tried to remember what I'd done that was so unforgivable. We'd argued, sure, about money, about my move to another city, about me missing Dad's memorial last year. But that couldn't be enough to erase me, could it? That memorial, I couldn't get the time off work. Mom said she understood, but I could hear the disappointment in her voice. I thought she'd forgiven me eventually. Maybe I was wrong. That night, I poured a glass of wine and sat at my kitchen table staring at that letter. Every word felt like a knife I didn't see coming. I started writing a reply, then I tore it up. I didn't even know what I was defending anymore. A week passed, then another. No calls, no texts, not even a message from my brother, who used to tell me everything. The silence became its own kind of punishment. I told myself I didn't need them, that I could build my own family, friends, work, new memories. But late at night, when everything got really quiet, I'd open that drawer, unfold her letter, and read it again, looking for a reason, looking for her. Last night, something strange happened. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but something in me said to answer. It was Ethan. He didn't say hi. He didn't ask how I was. He just whispered, "Claire, Mom's not who you think she is, and what she told you isn't the whole truth." And then he hung up. I sat there frozen, phone pressed to my ear long after the line went dead. What did he mean? What truth? That's when I realized maybe being cut off wasn't the punishment. Maybe it was protection.
I didn't sleep that night. Ethan's words replayed in my mind again and again, like a song I didn't want to remember but couldn't forget. Mom's not who you think she is. I tried calling him back, but his number went straight to voicemail, the kind of silence that feels like a locked door. By morning, I was done pretending everything was okay. I needed answers, even if I wasn't ready for them. I drove back to my hometown, a small place I swore I'd never return to. Every street felt haunted by memories I didn't want to feel. The coffee shop where Mom used to take me after church, the park where Dad used to push me on the swings. Now it all just felt fake. Mom still lived in the same house, pale yellow, porch light always on. I parked across the street and just watched. She was in the kitchen, washing dishes like nothing had changed, like she hadn't written a letter disowning me. For a second, I almost believed I could just walk in. But something stopped me. A dark car parked 2 houses down. Windows tinted, engine running. The same car I'd noticed behind me for the last 10 miles. I told myself I was being paranoid, but deep down, I knew better. I drove to a diner nearby, the one Ethan and I used to sneak into after football games. I texted him again. "Ethan, I'm in town. Please talk to me." This time he replied with just one word: tonight. I waited all day, nerves twisting tighter with every hour. When he finally showed up, he looked different. Tired, thinner, scared. He slid into the booth across from me and said, without looking up, "You shouldn't have come back." I said, "Tell me what's going on." My voice cracked, but I didn't care. He took a deep breath and handed me a folded piece of paper. It was an old document, faded, yellow at the edges, a birth certificate. But not mine. "Who is this?" I whispered. Ethan's eyes darted toward the window. "Her name was Lily. She was Mom's first daughter, before you." My stomach dropped. "That can't be true," I said. "I would have known." "No," he interrupted. "You wouldn't, because Dad didn't know either." I just stared at him, heart pounding so hard it hurt. "Claire," he said quietly, "Lily died when she was 10. Mom never told anyone what happened, and she's been hiding it ever since." The diner around us blurred. The sounds faded. Cups clinking, people talking, until all I could hear was the sound of my own breathing. My mom had another daughter, and I never known. "Ethan, why tell me now?" He leaned closer, eyes full of guilt. "Because she blames you." "Blames me for what?" "For Lily's death." My heart stopped. He told me everything in whispers. How Lily drowned in a lake behind Grandma's house. How Mom was pregnant with me at the time. How she believed losing Lily was some kind of punishment. And how she spent years trying to pretend I wasn't the replacement. Suddenly, the letter made sense. The coldness, the silence. She wasn't cutting me off out of hate. She was trying to erase the pain that came with me. I wanted to scream, to cry, to tell her it wasn't fair, that I didn't ask to be born into her grief. But instead, I just whispered, "Does she even know I know?" Ethan shook his head. "No, and she can't. Not yet." When we left the diner, the dark car was gone. But I still felt eyes on me, like someone was always watching. As I drove back to my motel, I thought about that little girl, Lily, my sister I never knew. And for the first time, I realized maybe Mom's letter wasn't meant to punish me. Maybe it was meant to protect me from the truth.
I didn't leave town that night. I couldn't. There were too many questions, and I was done living in the dark. So the next morning, I drove to Mom's house, the one I'd watched from the street the day before. The porch light was still on, like it had been waiting for me. I stood there for a minute, just breathing. My hands were shaking. When I finally knocked, I half expected her not to answer. But then I heard footsteps. The door opened, and there she was. Mom looked older than I remembered, tired, softer. For a second, I saw the woman who used to tuck me in at night. But then her eyes met mine, and they froze. "Claire, what are you doing here?" I said quietly, "You sent me a letter. You told me not to come home." She looked away, her lips trembling. "I didn't think you'd actually listen. Then why write it?" "Because," she whispered, "sometimes love means staying apart."
I stepped inside before she could stop me. The air smelled like cinnamon and dust, just like childhood. Photos lined the hallway. Family trips, birthdays. And then I saw it. One frame turned backward on the shelf. I picked it up and flipped it over. A little girl smiling by the lake. Blonde hair, green eyes. She looked almost like me. I asked, "Is that her?" Mom's voice broke, "That's Lily." The room went quiet except for the old clock ticking on the wall. I said softly, "Ethan told me what happened, that she drowned, that you blame yourself, that you—" I hesitated. "Blame me." Mom sank into the couch, her shoulders trembling. For a long time, she didn't say a word. Then finally, "It wasn't your fault, Claire. It wasn't anyone's. But I couldn't look at you without seeing her." Her voice cracked as she spoke. "You were born 3 months after she died. I should have loved you the way a mother loves. But every time I looked at you, I saw the daughter I lost." Tears filled her eyes. "I tried, Claire. I really tried. But grief doesn't fade. It just changes shape." I didn't realize I was crying until I felt the tears on my lips. "Why didn't you just tell me?" She shook her head. "Because you'd have tried to fix it, and some things aren't meant to be fixed." For a long time, neither of us spoke. Just two broken people sitting in the ruins of something we both loved. The truth didn't fix us, but somehow it made the silence hurt a little less. I stood up and walked to the back door, the one that looked out towards the woods. In the distance, I could see the shimmer of the lake, the same lake where Lily had drowned. I asked, "I want to see where it happened." Mom hesitated, then nodded. The walk was quiet. Leaves crunched beneath our feet. The sun was setting, painting the water gold. Mom whispered, "She loved it here. She said the lake made her feel free." I looked at the rippling surface and felt a strange calm wash over me. Like maybe Lily wasn't gone, just part of everything now. I turned to Mom. "You don't have to run from the past anymore." She looked at me, truly looked at me for the first time in years. She said softly, "You sound just like her." I smiled through tears. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. We stood there together until the light faded. Not mother and daughter divided by grief, but two souls finally willing to forgive what life had stolen. When we walked back, the porch light was still on. This time, she didn't turn it off. Later that night, I sat alone in my motel room staring at the same letter that started all of this, the one that said I was no longer part of the family. I folded it carefully and slipped it into my bag, because now I finally understood. Sometimes family isn't about who stays. It's about who's brave enough to come back. And that night, as the rain started to fall outside my window, I knew I was ready to forgive her. Not because she deserved it, but because I did.